Hello, so I will be reading The N-Word by Lucy E. Parsons from 3rd April 1886. Let him leave politics to the politician and prayers to the preacher. So this is about black people. Here's an excerpt. While these are the plain facts, what is the lesson it teaches? Are there any so stupid as to believe these outrages have been, are being, and will be heaped upon the Negro because he is black? Not at all. It is because he is poor. It is because he is dependent. It is because he is a poorer class than his white wage slave brother of the North. And the thing with race is it serves a function in society to divide up poor people. It really does. And it tricks them into thinking, well, yeah, I'm white, therefore I'm doing a lot better than black people, therefore I shouldn't argue about anything. And I shouldn't ask for rights because then black people will get rights and therefore I will have no rights. And there's like a book about it, about how white people, because of racism, will not want health care for themselves. And they will do things like, one was they would want less gun laws, even though guns make it easier for white men to commit suicide. And the guy who wrote the book showed the statistics. A lot of them do that through guns. And if you take away guns and have more gun laws, there would be less suicides happening. But still, they don't care because, again, black people, and they want to protect themselves from the blacks. Like, racism was a big factor and it doesn't help them. And the point is, there's also White Trash, which is a book, and you can search like the author speaking, and she describes how it was used, again, strategically. That's why places like Europe, like England, like the Frances, they didn't have as much racism, but you can see they have better laws than us. Even though, yeah, they're still not that great of countries. They still have their bottom and their top and people at the top, but they can be told, oh yeah, they're more progressive, but it's because they didn't have racism as deep as America did to divide them up. It was very much white, and when you go to the UK, it's like 3% black. So if they did what America did, because America is 11% black, it's just that we still flip everything to like really beat people on the head, like, oh, you're white, you're better. And then black people ended up having their own culture, their own way of speaking, like it was deep. And so she goes on to say, the black himself, we would say your deliverance. Oh, she also was referencing lynchings before here. The black himself, we would say your deliverance lies mainly in your own hands. You are the modern healer. You sow, but another reaps. You till the soil, but for another to enjoy. Who is this other one who continues to enjoy the fruit of your industry? Are they not the idle few who you but lately acknowledge as your masters? Are not these loafers practically your masters, yet in as far as absorbing all your labor product, without even being compelled to return to you sufficient to keep you in decent clothes? So they absorb everything that you work for, they take it, and they don't even pay you enough to have you in nice clothes and have good food. For they are not even actuated by the moneyed interest which they had in you in the former years. The overseer's whip is now fully supplanted by the lash of hunger. Guys, this is the one. If you know, I followed this girl on Twitter, Leisure Advocate, and she has since left Twitter, but I did post like some videos of her Twitter, like me going through it, and she mentioned how, like, were black people freed from slavery, or were they released? Because again, if you look up the dictionary, freed and released mean the same thing. And if you use your head, you also could be like, yeah, I can see that. And when they say freed, it's like, okay, you are free, but we're not going to physically beat you, but you are going to be beaten to work for us by the lash of hunger. That's what I'm getting. Like, the overseer's whip is now replaced by the lash of hunger. And so when black people, like, you can see this in Roots which is a movie about slavery, a lot of part series, the black people were freed, but they went back working on the same plantation. They did not leave. The majority of them, you know, they're in America. They don't know anyone. All they know is this plantation. So yeah, we're gonna leave, but now we're gonna work on the farm. And then they make it so like they make food, and then they have to pay the owner for them working on their land. Kind of like how, oh, I build a house, but now I have to pay you to live in the house because you own the land that is on the property, right? Because that's how it works. Like, people will own land and then I pay them to get that land, and then it's like, how did you even get that land? You stole it from somebody else. Like, anyways, yeah, a lot of them, like, they ended up working just to live in the slave master's house, but they were still slaves. And then there would be things written in the news, and black people, they couldn't read. And yeah, point is, the same land which you once tilled as a chattel slave, you still till only as a wage slave. And in the same cabin which you then entered at eve, not knowing what you would be sold from wife and little ones before the morrow setting sun, so they didn't know they would be sold, you now enter with dread, lest you will be slain by the assassin of those who once would simply have sold you if they did not like you. And so I'm gonna end this excerpt from "But your course in the future, if you value real freedom, is to leave the politics to the politician and prayer to those who can show wherein it has done them good more than it has ever done for you, and you join hands with those who are striving for economic freedom." Can you divine what this freedom means? Economic freedom. What does it mean? Homes for the homeless, producer of today. And only those who produce shall have them, and no longer shall the industrious many feed the idle few, who riot in luxury and ease. So those who make industries, they should not have to feed the little bit of rich people who get luxury. Okay guys, that is the end. Thank you for listening.